Hello you awesome people, welcome back. In the last lecture, we generated this deployment file with the help of kubectl command, and now it is time to understand its structure, clean it and add our additional statements to this to make it work as per our requirement. I have created this folder for our practice in this working directory, while step by step all different versions of the manifest files are available inside this directory. This is purely for your reference. I trust this is not the first time you are seeing a deployment YAML file, but it is a good idea to quickly walk through this deployment file and understand it on the high level. Also, we'll do little bit of cleaning and remove unnecessary substance from this. Okay. So this is a deployment kind of Kubernetes object. This is the API version. This is the metadata. So I am not interested in this. It's really unnecessary for me. So this is the creation timestamp when this was created, and this is just a label that we are applying to this deployment. In the specifications, we have specified replicas count to be 3, and this is the selector. So this has to match with the pod label. Inside the template, we again have a creation timestamp. I'm removing this, but this time we can't remove because otherwise this selector will not be able to select this object. So we will just keep it right here, and here is the command. I for some reason prefer it in different style, so this is auto generated ones, but I will keep it this way. Okay, continue. I prefer this order where there is first the name of object, then image, and then the rest of the stuff. Though this is completely optional, it's all about comfort in reading. So we have got one container here whose name is busybox. It is using image whose name is busybox, and it is going to run a command which is sleep 50 in this particular shell. Okay, this is on the high level. Now why busybox? Why not some other image? Let me just quickly explain you this. So idea is very simple. You have got a knife, you have got a sword. Both are important, both can cut the objects, but still we don't see very often people cutting their vegetables with the help of a sword, right? Because that job can be done by the knife. Why to use sword for this? For the same reason, while selecting the image, we have got a choice of using Ubuntu image, we can use Alpine image, as well as we have got busybox for our requirement. But look at their sizes. There's huge difference, isn't it? For our requirement, busybox is enough, and that's why it is our choice. Okay. Moving on. This command expects input in the list format. So it is completely okay to provide our command in this way also. Let me just type it for you. So if I just type it like this, it is completely okay. So if you are going through online documentation and you sometimes see in this way and sometimes in the other way, just understand that both are exactly the same. Okay. Because we are going to work more on this command and add our web scraping logic here, so this style of writing into multiple lines is more appropriate for us. So we'll continue with this. This resources is giving some warning. I just want to remove it for now at least. Okay, removing it, and this status is also of no use. So removing this as well, saving it. Okay. Let's quickly test whether our deployment manifest in this state is all good or no. Okay, so I've saved it. Now let me reveal in the file explorer, opening in CMD. In order to apply this to the Kubernetes, what we have to do is kubectl apply, or we can use create also, and -f, what is the file name? So my file name is this. We'll change this file name later. Okay. Apply. And our deployment is created successfully, right? So let me just kubectl. And indeed it is there. That's a good news. Let me also tell you, if you are not okay with this command prompt, right, in Windows Bash, so you can use any terminal. kubectl will be able to take the configuration anyhow. So for example, I am using Mobextrum in my system. This is more colorful, so we can plan to use this one also. Okay, so let me take this location, copied it, cd to this. Oh, my bad. Now I want to apply from here. So kubectl apply -f, the file name, hit enter. And because there is no change in the configuration, it says unchanged. But this also indicates that indeed we are able to apply our manifest file to the Kubernetes cluster. Yes? Moving on. In the beginning, we discussed the requirement, and that requirement was certainly not to sleep for 50 seconds, isn't it? It was something else. What was that? Well, we wanted to scrap a web page, take its HTML out, and store it in a text file. It's the right time to do it then. We need shell for this. If you are using Unix or Mac based operating system, you are good to go with the terminal you are working till now. If you are into Windows, you need to install some terminal that support bash. It could be Mobextrum, git bash, cygwin, etc. Okay, you can go with your favorite one. Mine is Mobextrum. So this is the command to which I can pass the URL and expect it to return the HTML of that web page. Okay, let me hit enter, and you can see here is the HTML for this page. Let me pass this switch no check certificate and hit enter. For this web page there is no difference, but few other websites this is essential for wget to return the HTML. Now we did not simply wanted to print it, right? Our intention is to write into a file. So how to do that? Well, very straightforward. Let me first make it little bit small. Oh, okay, I can remove this one. Yeah, so what we can do is pass this to a file. So it could be, for example, techschool.com, just to indicate that this is the HTML of this, or sorry, not .com but .html. Okay, hit enter, and now let me do ls. So you can see there is a new file that got created, and it is expected to have the same HTML which we were seeing earlier. Let me open this. So here is the file. Let me hit enter. This is how this file looks like in the browser, right? This is exactly what we wanted our command to do. So we should be happy with this command. Let me just take it, and I can replace this sleep 50. The manifest looks good for now, but there is small problem because there is very small task we have assigned to this. It will run for a moment and container will stop. So what we can do is still add certain sleep time like this. So I am ending the command, going to the new line and writing sleep, and I want to sleep it for longer, so I'll just say sleep for 600 seconds. Okay. When we are working with multiple lines, it is needed to enclose our statements inside the quotes. So we can do it like this, and it's not needed for these, but I'm still, just to follow the same pattern, I'm enclosing these statements also inside the double quotes. Okay, so double quotes are needed. Now saving the file, and now I'm going to the terminal, clearing my screen, and let me apply this deployment. Okay, kubectl get pods, and as we can see, our pods are up and running. Alright, it is time to discuss another very interesting concept. So these are our pods, right? they seems to be running fine as we can figure it out from the status we can see here, right? Where is our file that is expected to be created? We specified our command in such a way that this file should get created, which will have the HTML content of this web page. But how do I see that file? It is very much understood that file lies within this pod, right? There are 3 pods, so each pod is expected to have the file. So it is very important for us to be able to connect with the pod and access the file system. How do we do that? Well, it is very simple in Kubernetes, and the command for this is exec or execute. And you know it very well how to access the help section for this command. So we can do it this way. Leaving everything aside, you should definitely take a look at the examples and they will give you a good idea about this command. What we want to do here with this command is we want to connect to one of the pod and want to see whether our file is indeed created there or no. So let me do it this way. So I'll say kubectl execute and we need to specify our pod name. I'll do it for one of the pod, then you can do it for the rest. Okay. So I'll just say busybox. So the pod name is here. Then double dash or hyphen, and I'm typing one command here, ls. It is basically the command to list down the files, and when I press enter, I can see the textcool.html file is indeed created and lying over here. Likewise, I can execute any other command also. For example, I want to see like this. Can be done. Okay. We can execute. So basically we are executing a command on this pod, and what is the command? We are specifying on this side of this double hyphen, right? It's very simple. But problem is there. This is fine if we want to invoke 1 or 2 commands, but what if I want to work continuously inside this pod? I have several commands that I want to execute. This may not be a good idea. What I want to do is interactively connect with this busybox pod and stay inside this pod until I am done and want to come out of it, right? For this, very straightforward, what we can do is -it. This will also work, but it will again, we are not connecting to a shell, right? So what we can do is we will connect to a shell so that this switch we are passing will make sense, and we will stay connected to that shell or console and keep on talking to it until we say we are done. Okay, so I'll say bin sh, which is the shell which we are specifying here also, right? And let me hit enter, and you can see we are inside our container now. Okay, so if I say host name, this is the host name. If I say ls-lrt, I can see this is the file, and if you want to see the content of this file, we can use our cat command. Press tab for auto completion, hit enter, and it contains all different HTML, which is the expected output. As you can see, we can play around with the file system of the container as well as all different processes running inside this. And in this output, as you can see, here is the command which we specified while creating the deployment, which is running here as a process. So this is how the stuff is working here in Kubernetes world. I'm sure now whenever you will have a troubleshooting requirement where you have to go inside the container and access the file system and the processes, you will be able to do it. This is exactly the intention behind this demonstration also. We are good for now. Let me come out of this container. So I'll say exit, and we are back to our console. I can do ls, and you can see the files are different. So basically we have come out of the container, right? So this is about it. You can see there are 2 more replicas running for this. I expect you to try connecting to some other pod and see whether this file is created there also or it is not. So I'm leaving it up to you. I'm sure you will try that. Yes. Alright, my dear friends, we have created a deployment file, specified our web scraping logic in the form of this command over here, and we applied this file in order to create the deployment and eventually the pods in our Kubernetes cluster. But we are not done yet. There are many more things we want to do on this deployment, and we want to make it more user friendly, more configurable, and easy to manage. So let's stay connected, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Take care.